Welcome to the Whitetail Advantage Podcast with your host, Brett Bovin. Thank you for tuning in and enjoy the show.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Whitetail Advantage Podcast. I'm your host, Brett Bovin. And yes, I am wearing a cutoff shirt. Everyone's been seeing comments of, where's Suns Out, Guns Out? Fuck yeah. It's hot as shit up here in Michigan, man. So whatever. Fuck off. Anyways, thank you for tuning in for tonight's show. It's episode 62. It's Louisiana week. If this is your first time tuning into the show, thank you. Wish you tuned in a couple episodes before, but you know what? We appreciate you tuning in. It's a fun show. We have a lot of fun around here. We do a live show Monday through Wednesday, starting at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Each week, we dedicate 3 days, hence Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, to a new state. We bring on a new guest for each of those days. We learn what makes them successful. We learn what they believe or how they believe that makes that state such a beautiful state to hunt in, and learn the rich history from on their end and what makes it beautiful to hunt there. And it's nice to hear the stories that come around with and hear the new, how do I want to say it? New hunting laws and things are going on in that state. It's nice to be educated on what's going on in there. It's nice to be educated on what's going around the whole country. There could be times where we don't have a guest. We don't have that for tonight. We do have a guest. We have two guests, actually. We make a post on our social media pages at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or sometime between there and noon, and we announce our guest. There'll be times where we don't have a guest, and we'll ask the audience. And if that's your opportunity to come on the show, wherever you're from, we talk about whatever you want to talk about. Be your show. Go ahead and run with it. If not, I might come on and do a spiel about how I'm pissed off with everything, this way this country's being run, or we just won't have a show. Simple as that. There is one thing I do ask from all the fans out there is to put a quarter in the slot machine. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is share the show, please. This show can get kind of controversial at times, and we get banned. For instance, we got banned on Facebook because of some comments that we made. So basically, we no longer do live Facebook pages anymore. So now we strictly do YouTube. Who knows when and if we'll ever get canceled from there as well. But we run into those problems now because of this cancel culture that's running around the world. And it's sad to see that that's happening, and sad to see that hunting's dying. We're trying to spread the word about hunting. So all I ask is your help to spread the word of hunting and share the show by putting your quarter in the slot machine. With that being said, there goes my intro spiel. Looking forward to tonight's show. It's episode 62. We're starting in Louisiana this week. And it is Monday, April 29th, 2024. And with that being said, I'll give a round of applause for our guest tonight, Benny. Hey, fellas, how's it going? You guys good? Sean, I can't hear them. Can you hear them?
No, I cannot hear them.
We can't hear you guys, Benny. We're having some technical difficulties on their end. Can you guys hear us okay? Can you give us a thumbs up if you can hear us? Okay, we can't. We're giving you a thumbs up, thumbs down because we can't hear you. How about this? If you still hear us, we're gonna disconnect you and then log back into the waiting room. Okay, so we're gonna do that. All right. All right. So while they're doing that, I did forget to mention we do have the producer of the show tonight, the Deucer. I did forget to mention that. Can't leave him out.
You hear me now?
Hey, can you hear us?
Can you? Oh yeah. Can you hear us?
Oh, there we go. Let's give a round of applause for figuring out technology. We have to love it. You have to love technology, am I right?
Yeah. I like it.
All right. Who are you guys and why are you in
Okay.
my studio?
So I'm Benny Gregoire, owner of Buzzard Roost Saddles down in Louisiana. I
I can't hear you anymore. We're still having some audio technical difficulties here. Let's see. Are you guys aren't connected to your vehicle, are you? Nope, we still can't hear you. Thank you, Deucer. Well, we're trying to figure out some audio problems on their end. They can hear us, but we can't hear them. The producer of the show. Hey, Deucer, you were able to hear them, though, that brief moment that they did talk, correct?
Correct. I could.
Okay. Okay. So it's just we're trying to get audio connection on their end. If you,
Correct.
in the meantime, if you do have a question for me, myself, or our guest for tonight, please do not hesitate to send in the comments, or if you want to come on the show, send us an email on our website. Benny, can you hear us?
can hear you, bud. Can you hear me?
There we go.
All right. I disconnected you from the truck. It was working fine earlier. I don't know why it decided to quit once we went to the podcast.
Oh, you're good. Well, back to the background about you guys. Can you guys give us a little background about you?
Yeah, so I'm Benny Gregoire, owner of Buzzard Roost Saddles down in Santa Monica, Louisiana. I have a business partner, Anthony Regallo. He stayed home, and I'm up in Missouri turkey hunting. We got Brandon Kinchin here. He's a big part of Buzzard Roost. He's our utility guy in the shop. He can do just about anything we ask him to do. Sewing, tying, prep work. He's got a brain for numbers and stock. If I need to know where it's at, just ask Brandon.
Brandon, real quick, what's it like to sew all that stuff?
Well, I prefer to do other things. It's a lot, man, but it's really cool to, like, growing up hunting and buying like different equipment and stuff like that. You get the finished product, and to take like raw materials and just put your time and effort into that and put those things together, and then seeing how like someone else now has that finished product and you were a part of their journey. Like all these guys that's hunting in the saddle, like I feel like I'm there with them, being able to play a part in that.
That's awesome to hear, man. It's here to hear that side of the story as well. One more quick question on that end. How long does it take to kind of start from the beginning to the end of a saddle, putting it all, like building it together?
Probably about, I don't know what you think.
So for us, like just a regular standard saddle off the shelf, you go buy it right this second, and we're gonna ship it out tomorrow. It takes us 2 hours to make that saddle.
That's not bad. It seems like a pretty quick turnover rate.
Yep, it's not bad at all. And then like our custom saddles, we'll do customs, and they generally take all day for one of our girls. And that's the main reason for our you'll see a big price difference in our standard saddle versus our custom saddle, because we dedicate one girl to it. And I mean, I say one girl, but Brandon will help her cut it out to kind of speed it up a little bit. But from the very base, it's done individually. Cut it out, source the webbing. We don't keep any of that on hand. It's true custom. You tell us what you want, and then we go out and find it. It takes us about a week to put it together, and then once all our materials come in, then it's going to take us all day to do, because it's we're not able to like assembly line it.
Okay. How did this start? Like, were you just drinking around a bonfire? Were you something you kind of been thinking about for a while? How did this business become about?
So I actually got into saddle hunting, and I'm gonna say it's probably cliche, but before it was cool, I was
Okay.
saddle hunting, and I made my own saddle. Uh, Back then, the only saddle that I knew of that was on the market was the Arrow Hunter Kestrel, and it was like $500 for everything you need, and they're still about $500 now. But I was going through a divorce at the time, $500, not cheap. So I looked at everything to make one, and so I made my first saddle out of a sit drag, and a lot of the original guys did that too. And what mine was different because I split it down the middle, and I took paracord and rivets, and I made a net. I watched a bunch of YouTube videos on making nets, and so mine it had a bigger seat than everybody else's sit drag. A lot of guys combine two sit drags, kind of like a 2-panel saddle, but mine was a single panel that I split and then added the netting to. And then kind of from there, just buddies that I hunt with, when I wasn't packing the stand anymore, they're like, "What are you doing?" And so I kind of told them about the saddle, and a lot of them just kind of put it to the side, but then it kind of became mainstream with other saddle manufacturers coming out, and they wanted to try it. And I kind of talked to them about how much it actually cost me to build one, and materials wise it's not that much, but I mean there's other stuff that goes into it now. But anyway, I built a couple for buddies, and then, man, I think I was working nights. I was supposed to work nights the next night, and so I stay up before I work the first dog, and I just got my mama sewing machine and started playing with it, and I had an idea just come to mind, and I built it, and it was the bottom panel of our saddle. Our saddle's a 2-panel, and it's a true 2-panel saddle. You can actually hold each panel in one hand and spread them apart, and Brandon is the one that puts them together to give you the finished product. But that's unique to us. There's no other saddle that can completely separate like that. You have saddles that have back bands, separate back bands, but they're a 1-panel saddle. Ours is a 2-panel, and our back band, because it separates like that, it can actually come up your back and give you a lot more support. But anyway, I was playing that night, and I come up with the bottom panel, and then from there, the hardest part was figuring out how to tie them both together, because the bottom was comfortable, but I needed something to go above the iliac crest, which is like your hip bones.
Okay.
And that's what would hold you in if you fell out. So I didn't have that on the bottom panel. So then I had to create the top panel, and that took longer than anything. But it really just came about. It was a happy accident, like the
What
little birds.
What's the name of the website so my producer can put it up on the web on here on the show?
It's buzzardroostsaddles.com.
Awesome. So I've never been saddle hunting, only because I have private land and I have all my preset stands already in place.
Yeah.
To me, when I look at saddles, it's kind of, I've seen a lot of them, and granted, I don't. It's all new to me myself because I've never really got into it. To me, what I've kind of noticed though, and one thing that would, I guess, draw me from not doing it is it just looks like a seat on your butt, and it doesn't look like a whole bunch of support on your back. But it sounds like that's what you're offering though. With yours, it sounds 2 panels, so you got one for your butt and one for your back. Is that correct?
Yep.
Is that what you mean by
That's
2
right.
panels?
That's right.
So it sounds like that you're a product to go to with the back support, because to me, that if I'm sitting in there, I just feel like my back can get flimsy, and then when I'm trying to draw back a bow, it just seems like I'm going to be kind of like loose in the back, and I'm not going to feel that support to feel more secure drawing back a bow.
Yeah.
How
So
is drawing?
whenever you're bow hunting, it's actually not as bad as most people think, and it's really not bad at all. It's kind of like just standing in your backyard shooting. It supports you like that, and you can keep your proper form and everything. You get the tee as you're drawing back, and everything is bending at the waist instead of bending at your just like tilting. Everything's at the waist. It creates really good form for a bow.
For someone that wants to get into saddle hunting and that might be skeptical of trying it, what would you tell the person that's like, you know what, I want to get into it. I don't know where to start. What do I do? Basically, what's a good starting point for them when they're trying to get into the saddle game?
So I think you got a decision to make when you want to go to a saddle, and that's do I want a single panel or do I want a 2-panel? And there's single panels out there that are super comfortable, but most of your double panels are really comfortable just because you have that ability to move them a little bit more. And when you have that adjustability, you can make it fit you. And that's one thing that we really do well is we've been accused of having too many adjustments. And it's like, man, I don't think you can have too many adjustments. And, we've had other companies hit us on Facebook and say, you don't need all that. You just need our saddle and you'll be comfortable. And they do have a comfortable saddle, but to be honest, the adjustments, not everybody is shaped the same. So we're able to contour to you. And for example, like ladies, they got those beautiful figures, right?
Yeah.
And we can actually take a lady that has a big behind, and we can put her in a large bottom panel and give her a regular or a small top panel, and it fits her hourglass shape even better. Like we can do that. We can make that adjustment, and nobody else can offer that. So adjustments aren't bad. You want the adjustment.
How many pieces are there in a saddle itself? I mean, it sounds like when I've been looking online, it looks like there's like a million different types of pieces, but there really isn't at the same time. It seems like you got your saddle basically that you sit in, but it just seems like a lot of ropes though, and a lot of carabiners. Can you break that part down?
Yeah. So the main body is going to be your saddle. That's your first decision. Like I said, you either take a single panel or a 2-panel, and both of them have some similar components. Your bridge, which is the rope that connects your one hip to the other hip, and that's the V-shaped rope in the middle. Ours has an adjustment on it, a one-handed adjustment. We have a Swabish hitch on either your right or your left. You can pick that, and you pull it up to tighten it, which kind of squeezes you a little bit more. And then when you let it out, it doesn't squeeze you. So that's a comfort adjustment right there. And so you have your main saddle, you have your bridge that connects hip to hip, and then you have two ropes that you need. You need either a lineman belt or, well, you need a lineman belt and a tether. And your lineman connects just like you see the linemen climbing the poles with their gaffs and all. They have a rope that goes around the back side of the pole and connects to each hip. Well, that's when you're going up and you're climbing your sticks, and that leaves your hands free, and it can stand you up, and it leaves you in a stable position to set your sticks exactly where you want them as you climb. And then once you get to the top and you're at hunting height and you set your platform, then you'll wrap your tether around the tree and then hook into your bridge. And that keeps you safe so that now you can undo your lineman belt.
Okay.
So you need 2 ropes. That way you stay 100% tied off to the tree. And if you were to slip or something, you're not going to fall. And that's a major safety thing with saddles is there's no shock trauma of it. There should be no slack in your ropes. So if you do slip, it's more like a swing into the tree, and you might get a few bruises and scrapes, but it's not going to be a shock trauma or a suspension trauma.
Okay. I did forget to ask, are you guys public land or private land? Are you guys doing this? How are you guys using these saddles primarily?
So we see guys use it in all different aspects, public, private. But when somebody comes to me and they're like, "Hey, do I need a saddle? My buddies are all using a saddle. I don't know if I need one." And I ask them, kind of like you introduce yourself as a private land hunter, and you have all your presets. And in that situation where you're controlling the pressure, you're controlling the feed, you control entry and exit, and you can micromanage the deer to go where you want, you probably don't need one. I'm not saying you won't find a scenario where you will, but you probably don't need one. In all those situations that I've hunted private land, I didn't need one, but I can think of one scenario where I want one. And that's if you're hunting that private land and say you're over a food plot, but them deer don't come out to the food plot. Like you're watching a rut happen on a ridge behind you, and they're just out of reach. And you want to move to that ridge quick, like a saddle, is light enough. It is packable enough. You can have it in your backpack and you can move to that ridge and hunt those deer and have a chance at them.
How long would it take for someone to, once they found the tree they want to use, to getting all the way up to the top of the tree that they want to get to and getting all set up? How long would an average person generally take? Obviously, I'm assuming a newer person might take a little bit longer because it's new to them. I get that. But someone that's been doing it for a couple of years now that kind of has a routine down, how long does that generally take for them to get all set up and be like, all right, it's game time, we're hunting?
So not rushing, just
taking your time getting up the tree, yeah.
Yeah, the deer are moving. So like you're not trying to rush and make a whole lot of noise or anything like that. 5-10 minutes, man.
Wow, that is quick. I expect it to be more like around the 15-minute mark at least.
Yeah, once you get to your tree, and you know how to set your sticks, like you're not fumbling with them, 5-10 minutes you can be in a tree.
Now, I don't know if I asked this or maybe you mentioned it, I just missed it, but how long could you really sit in one of those saddles and be like, I feel dang comfortable. I don't feel like I have to adjust or kind of like flimsy. Sometimes you sit in a tree stand, it's like, I gotta stand up and stretch my legs out once in a while. How long would it say before you get to that point of like you'd be sitting in a chair?
It depends. It really depends on your saddle, which one you choose. That there are some that you're not gonna sit there all day.
Okay.
You're gonna be, 5-6 hours max, and then you're gonna want to give yourself a break. We've had guys sit all day. I sit all day in mine if I need to. That's not really my style. I'm a run and gun guy. I don't sit too long before I decide, hey, it ain't happening. But yeah, we can sit all day in the Buzzard Roost saddle. And my partner, Anthony, he actually was in an accident at work, and it actually crushed his pelvis, and it opened it up like this. And so he's got a lot of lower back pain, a lot of hip and all that, and he can sit all day, no problem.
That's awesome. Hey, Deucer, if you're listening, well, I know you're listening, but if you can pop up a photo of one of their saddles, be great. In the meantime, for your own personal hunting, though, for both of you guys, both question, are you guys hunting public or private?
I hunt majority public. I do have a private lease, but we run dogs in the swamp. but that's the only private I hunt.
What about you?
I hunt 99% public.
Public?
Yep.
You can hunt with dogs in Louisiana?
Yeah.
I swear I thought that was like a East Coast thing of like Carolinas. I know I've talked to a lot of guests and they all said, yeah, that's common over there. It was first I'm hearing down south area.
Yeah. So in those swamps, slipping through them swamps is a good way to kill a deer, or you just set out stand rows and set the dogs loose. I actually killed two deer this year. I killed a good buck, and then the next day I killed a little 6-point. When it comes to dog hunting, horns don't matter.
Because we haven't officially really covered any of those states yet. I mean, we did talk to one group down out of South Carolina, Whiskey and Whitetails. We talked about it. But how are you hunting with dogs? Like, to me, that's just, you talk to anyone, it's like, all right, I'm going to hunt for whitetail deer. All right, I'm going to sit in a tree stand. That's it. For you, so it looks like you found a photo. It looks like they're in the top right.
Yep.
Okay. When you think of hunting, like I said, you really don't think of hunting with dogs, at least when you're in our area. What's it like hunting with dogs? It seems like that can kind of be, in a way, a recipe for a disaster.
No, we what you mean disaster?
Like,
Safety.
if I'm hunting with dogs, I'd expect you'd have to be. It sounds like you have to be working with a team, one person on one end pushing the deer with the dogs to the north, and someone's got to be up north on the north part of it, getting ready to shoot them.
Yeah, so it's a lot like a man drive, but so for us in the swamp, a guy will have dogs loaded up in his boat, and then everybody will go out, and then they'll walk a line, and each line will have a team lead, and he's the last guy. He's the first one in, and he'll drop everybody, and he'll be the last one in the line. Well, that road does not move. You don't leave your stand until the last guy comes picks you up one by one. And you have marine radios everybody's talking on, and hey, I just had a doe come by me. We don't shoot does with the dogs, except for like kids. We'll allow them to shoot, but a lot of communication over the radios. You can hear the dogs coming a long ways. And then there's just rules in place to keep you from shooting one another. Like we're shotguns only. We do use slugs, but 100-yard range is pretty much all we have, and everybody's spaced further than 100 yards. Yeah. And then the pushers will go in and they'll cut the dogs loose and push them, and they work the wind a lot. They pay attention to the wind. They rotate the areas of the land that they hunt. They'll block it off on a map, and they'll only hunt this quadrant today, and tomorrow they'll rotate to another one.
What's the hunting seasons like? You said, is hunting with dogs like a specified part of the season, or is that kind of open as soon as like archery season comes, or is that like a designated, you got these 2 weeks to hunt with dogs?
No, well, Louisiana has a long deer season in general. We open up in some places September 20th, around that date, all the way till February 15th.
Yeah, I'm looking on your hunting website, and it looks like the state is broken into some weird. Well, I wouldn't say weird, but it curves into a lot of different places of hunting areas, and it looks like your hunt area. What number? I just lost it. Hunt area 3. You start September 16th for archery, all the way through January 15th.
Yeah, so that's unique for Louisiana. The thing about it is, in each of those areas, they have so many areas because a lot of our deer were transplanted from multiple places. So at any given time during that season, you can hunt somewhere in Louisiana and the deer will be in rut.
most of our a large portion of our rut will be late December, early January. But there's a wildlife management area in North Louisiana that I could go there on Halloween, and I've killed bucks chasing does. Like
Yep.
it's like almost microclimates of different. Like
Yep.
they come in extra sooner.
You're hunting scrapes in that September 16th. There's scrapes.
Is that kind of like, I'm assuming it's December 16th, they'd be kind of just getting out of the what's the freaking word I'm looking for? Velvet.
The pre-rut.
No,
Yeah.
they'd be getting out of velvet, so that you just missed their velvet season.
Yep.
Huh.
Yep.
But it looks like a lot of the other areas, commonly other states of you're starting October 1st.
Yeah. Most common is October 1st.
Well,
And that's a lot of feed you hunting there.
it looks like, though, in area 5 and 6 with archery, you start October 16th through February 15th for
Yep.
either sex, and your bucks are October 1st through the 15th.
Yep.
And the same thing for area 6.
Yep.
Huh. It sounds like how would you, for someone that's, I guess it's a two-part question. Someone that's living in Louisiana, you basically have to be glued to this, just like any other state, of knowing your hunting laws. But you have to make sure that you're in your correct area to you know your hunting laws.
Yeah.
It looks like it, in a way, if you are new to hunting or you don't have like a hunting mentor, you can kind of get lost in all of these seasons if you don't know exactly where you're at. It's not like abroad here in the state of Michigan where it's like, all right, archery season October 1st for everybody. Here, you have to know exactly where you're at.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you something mind melting. Most WMAs and National Wildlife Refuges have their own seasons. So
Yep.
you got what you're looking at is the statewide season. A lot of it on public land, private land, but some public. But each WMA could be different.
Yep. And they have their own rules.
Yep.
Jeez. So basically, man.
So there's one WMA that I hunt. It used to be two, and they combined it into one. But part of that land is Corps of Engineers. So Corps of Engineer, like when it's rifle season on that WMA, if I wanted to go hunt the Corps of Engineers land, I can only use a shotgun. So it's a lot of craziness out there. You just when you're here doing it all the time, you learn what they are. And I've had guys during bow season, rifle season's open in the state in that area on private land, but there might only be a week of rifle season on that WMA, and they in there with the rifle. I'm like, hey buddy, you finna get a big ticket.
Yeah. And that's a big difference too. Our gun season on private land is a lot bigger and a lot longer than our public lands. Most of those are archery, and each one will give you, maybe 1 or 2 weeks in it, or it might just be certain weekends. Like the one close to me is a bunch of weekends for doe days, and then you get like 3 weeks of rifle, and then it's bucks only.
Huh. Yeah, looking at this a little closer, areas at least 1 and 2, it's the same season for both sexes. But as soon as you get down to area 3 and 4 as well, either sex, but 5, 6,
Yep,
broken down into different bucks and females.
Yeah, and like Brandon said, you're looking at the private land. If you keep scrolling down, you'll get to each WMA, and that's the state managed WMAs. And what's not on that site is most of your federal game reserves and stuff. So you got to go find those rules somewhere else.
How would they find those webs? How would they find those rules if they can't look in? Are they going to be on the website?
Not on the Wildlife and Fisheries. You got to go to the National Wildlife Refuge, and you even have to buy a special permit. You could have your Louisiana license and still, like, what some of the refuges have done is like 2 or 3 close together. You can buy one permit to access all 3 of them, but there were times where you had to buy a permit for each individual refuge, plus your regular hunting license.
And then you had to go get your bow hunter's education, and you had to go sit in a classroom for that. You couldn't do that online.
And if you was in a boat, you had to have boat safety.
Guys, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie here. I'm trying to digest everything you're saying, but what the fuck? It seems like it's all over the place when it comes to hunting seasons down there. I mean, is it working though? Is it working down there for you guys? Like for your deer herds and your hunting numbers? Does it seem to be working though?
It depends on where you go. Louisiana, it's got some areas that have great deer population, but then it's got areas that suck. Like the areas where you see bucks only, the population sucks.
Okay.
If you see that all season you can shoot does, the population's great. I think another thing, like Louisiana allows you 6 deer a year. You can kill 3 bucks and 3 does. For a state where the population sucks, I don't think you should do 6, but I try and kill them every year.
We have a large number of timber companies, so we have a ton of pine trees, and it offers really, like, it's terrible habitat for the deer. Like, in some areas, the hunting clubs is what's keeping the deer population there by supplemental feeding, because they're not eating pine straw.
With that question, with that statement, I do have to ask, so you can bait down there? Are you allowed to bait kind of during the season and after the season?
Private land, yes.
And you can't do anything on public land?
Nope. No.
So you can do supplemental feeding though in the off season, and then as soon as the hunting season rolls around, you can bait.
Yep.
See, I don't know why at least every state has that fucking rule. I mean, our state is a bunch of don't get me started on how things are running here in the state of Michigan. Do not get me started. Brett, you stay.
So do you want to bait? Is that what I heard? You want to bait?
I'm okay with baiting. I'd prefer if it was allowed to bait, I don't bait only because it's just my hunting style. I'm not opposed to it. I do wish that we are allowed to bait. My hunting style, my hunting technique is I like to do it wit versus wit. So I'm a very low impact guy as much as possible. I mean, I'll throw in a watering hole here and there, and I might build a food plot. But outside of that, I do my best to do as little as possible. Yeah. Do I want to see baiting? Yes, because it allows this new up and coming generation to get them out in the woods. It's helpful to get the deer there. And sometimes you just have maybe a sliver long of a 5-acre lot that you can hunt, and you got to get them somehow on your land. So baiting is going to really help you out. But where I stand at is I wish that we are allowed to do supplemental feeding in the off season. It might have changed. I'm still reading through the laws, but as of right now, my understanding is you can't. Now, I'm a huge advocate for it because deer here in the state of Michigan, just like Ohio, Indiana, you have all these deer going through the rut, the winter. It's a tough winter. It's cold. They're not getting a lot of food. They just burnt a shit ton of calories through the rut. And now through supplemental feeding, you can give them all that nutrients back that they desperately need. And for us not to be able to do that, basically they stated you can't do it because, well, we don't want them sharing spit. They're constantly sharing spit no matter what. You put bait out there or not, they're going to fucking do it. So what their logic to it behind it is I had no idea. Now, like I said, it could have changed recently. I don't know. I'm still reading. But as of right now, you can't. So they're a bunch of fucking idiots.
It may be some CWD stuff, but I mean, like you say, you can't really stop it because they do encourage us to stop baiting if they find CWD.
Yeah.
They encourage us to stop. But I'm much like you. I'm not opposed to baiting. I've done it before. I've killed deer over it. Um, it is not my preferred method. Um, I do hunt feed, but natural feed.
Okay.
I find the more that you introduce feed, I'm sorry, it kind of, I don't know that it makes them nocturnal, but I see more pictures at night than I do during the day. And
Yeah.
it just, I can't kill them at night. So if I hunt a natural feed, it's not like, you can go to McDonald's at 9 o'clock and go get you a burger. You know that. So you can wait to eat, do whatever you got to do, sleep in or whatever, and then go get fast food somewhere. I think it's the same concept. You throw corn out there. They don't have to move. They know when they can come in and feel safe doing it. So they do that. They know that you're not supposed to shoot them at night. They know it. So they come in later.
I remember there was this one photo of this one deer. He came in and I was after him one year. I never saw, well, first off, I never saw a picture of him. He came out in the middle of the day when I was out there hunting, and I took a shot at him and I missed him. Thought, all right, there goes that opportunity. Never saw him for 2 years. Then all of a sudden, a year ago, he pops up right at like 1 o'clock in the morning. I was like, you son of a. And this deer wasn't going to be on the next big freaking deer magazines. It wasn't anything like that. It was just, it's a smart deer. He beat me, so I want revenge on him. And that's just the character with him. He didn't go pass out its ears, but he was just tall. I mean, he was just super tall on all of his times. And his main beams came up and they basically were crossing.
Yeah.
And then let's find out real quick. The neighbor shot him that same year that I saw that photo of him, shot him. It's like, okay, great. It sucks I didn't get him, but I'm happy for him. Come to find out, and this really pisses me off. It's your deer. I get you can do whatever you want with them. But to saw off the antlers of that type of deer, you can do a European mount on your own for less than $20. Just throw them in the ground. He saws off the antlers, and they're just hanging up in his garage. Then it really pissed me off. But like, this guy gets that deer and not me. Come on, man.
Yeah.
But again, it's just I'm happy for him. Don't get me wrong, but it's just like, really, you're basically just throwing them off to the side. I mean, whatever.
Hey, controversial subjects. You see where some of these states are banning trail cams?
Yeah, I know. In I think Idaho was one of them, or Utah.
I want to say Arizona did.
Yeah, I don't know why it makes it stupid. I think that's the stupidest thing to.
Yeah.
Because it's cheating, basically. I don't know.
I did see a Facebook post. Somebody, they was upset because a guy they knew saw the deer out on the bait pile on the camera, left work, got his gun, drove up, and like eased up to the pile, checking his phone to see if the deer was still there, and shot him. And so I guess in that scenario, he killed it, and I'm happy for him, but he didn't hunt for it. He didn't, what I'm saying?
Because you're right, it's a controversial type of topic, and for those type of situations, I can see where they would ban them for that. My take on cell cameras, and we're just strictly talking about cell cameras, correct?
Yeah.
I'm okay with them only because it's nice to see what's happening right out there in the producer's texting me. He can shut the fuck up. The producer, just zip it on the text messages. I like cell cameras because it's nice to see what's happening right out there. It sucks because I'm at work and I can't necessarily leave unless I tell the boss, I got some bronchitis, so I got to leave. But for those type of situations, I can see, which I don't think is fair, but maybe they can set different regulations instead of just banning them all completely to the people that don't. Oh, all right, I'm going to run out to my stand real quick and hopefully he's still there. And then now I'm going to go shoot him.
Yeah.
I can see that's a lazy way of hunting about it, but I think there needs to be some maybe ground rules then instead of just banning them completely.
I think that's probably the exception though, but I don't know. So I like them, but I don't use them as much. Like this year, I had a buddy that invited me to take my son on the youth turkey hunt, and man, it was so fun to use that camera and sit there leading up to the season with my little boy. He's 6, and it's like, dude, there's a gobbler on there, and we're going through the pictures. Which one's a gobbler, buddy? Which one's a hen? And we talk about those things, and then when we get to the actual hunt and the gobbler shows up, that part is so cool, and you create that experience and that anticipation for the kid going up to it. I loved it for that. Now, for myself personally, I am not a big buck hunter. I don't hunt big bucks specifically. I love killing them, but I don't run cameras on public land or really on private land just because I like not knowing what's coming. And when it shows up, I'm just as excited to shoot a spike as any big buck that I've ever shot. And I like the excitement of not knowing.
I like that. That's a good. And I like to use my cell cameras mainly just to kind of piss me off. That's why I like using them, because it's nice to see. Okay, why is my phone ringing every 20 seconds? Why do I have 30 messages from Reveal? Oh, it's squirrel. Oh, there's another squirrel, doe, squirrel, doe. So I love that fact of just to be able to piss me off. That's why I truly love using cell cameras. I don't like seeing the big bucks. Those are never fun. I mean, who likes to see those big bucks on cameras? I love seeing those squirrels. I mean, those are the best, man. And seeing the photos of just the sun moving.
Yeah.
You can't beat those type of photos, man. I don't know how you can. So it's nice getting those updated live ones right away.
Yeah, them blurry insects ones, that's the best ones.
Yeah, you can't beat those, man. Those are photos for a lifetime. I do have a message from the producer that he has a video that he wants to play, and so I'll let him play it. But in fair warning, I have not seen this video clip.
Okay.
So I'm gonna let him play it. So for the listener at home, we just watched a video of their saddles. Can you kind of narrate what they just saw for the listener that's listening?
Did you get 90s vibes?
A little bit.
Yeah,
a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
So what they just ran through on the saddle was all of our adjustments is pretty much what they ran through. And you saw the saddle separate the two clips on the back. You unclip them, you pull the back band up to support your back, pull the lower panel down where you're most comfortable. Generally, our saddle, the top of the bottom panel needs to line up with your pocket line on your butt pocket. And then so you saw them rotating the prusik around it's the bridge loop is what it is, but I don't know what the listeners can see. But the bridge loop, you rotate around the bridge loop, and what it does, it cants and it changes the angle of the saddle, so you can find the ultimate comfort, because like I said, every body shape is different, so you need that saddle to cup you differently than your buddy. Most dudes wear flat behinds and we're all pretty much the same, but for the few that are different, we can adjust for that. See, what else did you see? Did you see where
It looks,
bridge?
yeah, it looks simple right there in the front.
Yep.
It looked simple, like it looked not as complicated than what I would imagine.
Yep. It's not overly complicated. Sometimes it can look that way with a 2-panel, and then with our saddle, all the adjustments. Like, man, I don't know how to set it to make it comfortable to me. And dude, just call us. We will work you through it. We'll get it figured out for you. We have a few videos out there finding comfort. It
Is it
all
okay
starts
for the
with your
producer to
tether.
pop up the website here on the screen? Is it okay for the producer to pop the website?
Yeah. Pop it.
Producer, can you share their website here on the screen and kind of roll through it?
Can I talk while that's
their
up?
actual website. Let's share screen their website, and then we would kind of run down some quick prices. And so, how long while he's doing that? How long have you guys been doing this again? I might have missed that.
So this is our 3rd year in business.
3rd year.
Yep.
So it sounds like it's kind of doing well then for you guys.
It is. Well, I just quit my day job.
So now you're focused on this more often.
Yep. I'm full-time buzzard roost. Yes.
Oh, then it sounds good. That's a good sign that it is working out then well.
Yes. Yep. It never imagined that I'd have done that. I thought I was going to work in a chemical plant the rest of my life.
Yeah.
But
what's it like kind of managing a business on top of your own hunting and having a family? How's it like managing all those facets of life?
Yeah. So I'm like I said, I'm divorced, but I remarried. So I got 3 kids of yours, mine, and ours. I got my oldest daughter back and forth with her mom. So I try and manage it. You know, it's not a week that I have her. And then, you know, with the business, like I told Brandon last week, I said, hey, we going to Missouri Monday. And that was what, Thursday?
Yeah, Thursday.
And I don't plan ahead really. So if I see a slot, it's like, hey,
we're going.
I'm gonna take it.
All right, the producer texted me saying that he's got the stuff ready to go. So let's pop your website up here on the screen.
Go for it.
So for the listener at home, we have their website up on the here on the screen. Benny, can you kind of narrate then for us where people would be looking at for the audio listeners?
Okay. So right now you just seeing our welcome block, and then as you scroll down, you'll see that's our very first video we did, and that's 3 years ago. I put that video out, and that's really the one that started it all. That got a lot of attention, a lot of emails and stuff asking questions about it.
Okay. What else they got on there, producer?
So this is
you can win a free saddle.
Yeah, Mad Hunts. That was about 3 years ago, and Mad Hunts. Matt does a really good job of breaking down every saddle. He's got an Excel spreadsheet that you get to see at the end of the video, and it just breaks it down, and he rates them. You know, comfort, price, main features, and he really does a good job of, you know, standardizing it.
Okay.
So right here you see our 2 basics. You'll see the camo saddle and the mossy oak, and then to the right of it you see our basic buzzard roost saddle. And So a lot of guys that have been saddle hunting and they hear about us, they hear about how comfortable we are, and they want to try it. Saddle hunters are gear junkies, like major gear junkies. I know guys that got 15 different saddles. And it's like, man, how do you get the money for that? But anyway, they'll order just that single saddle. And then you saw the camo saddle is our custom saddle.
Okay.
And, that saddle comes with the saddle and the 2 dump pouches, and we can pretty much customize any color that you want. You just ask us and we will figure it out. We have had scenarios like with high-end camo, like First Light, Sitka, Kuyu, and then I know I'm missing one, Canis Athlete. Those guys come to us with, they want a saddle that matches their camo, and we'll have to buy shirts from them and cut them up and then make the saddle out of it. So we can do that, and we put it all together. We make you a custom set of pouches to match. That way we're not, 3 months from now you say, oh, I think I want a pouch. That's just kind of not feasible.
Yeah.
We can't be doing that. That severely hurts things. So we just kind of mandate that you need to order pouches from us. Right here, I see you got the platforms we offer up there, your tower and your branch. The tower is a stackable stick. It'll stack with all of your sticks, and it just has a platform on the top. Or you can convert it to a 1 stick. A lot of guys are going the 1 stick method where they attach a aider to the bottom of that, and it's a rope ladder, and they can start their first step at like 7 foot, and they just start climbing, reach down, grab it, bring it up with them, and then they end up rappelling down at the end of it.
Okay.
And then the branch that was to the right of it, that's just your typical platform like everybody else sells. Straps to the tree, cams down, solid platform. It is rock solid, and it just helps you maneuver around the tree. And then right here you have the Pursuit platform with the Bullman step package. That is a killer run and gun setup. It is ultra light, fits into any pack, and it's good for any scenario. It is the perfect combination of platform and ring of steps that you'll ever find. And we're the only ones that put that together. We actually talked to Pursuit, and we talked to the Bullman steps, Silent Approach Bullman steps, and we asked them if we could offer that as a package, and they both said absolutely. They complement each other so well. And ultralight. The platform itself is, I believe, like 21 ounces. And then the steps are hardly nothing. If you threw them, the wind would catch them and stop it.
Man,
and it's just killer. I really, really like that setup. If I'm running and gunning, I don't know where I'm going hunt, and that's typically how I hunt. I hunt a lot of feed in Louisiana, a hot feed tree that's got a lot of fresh sign under it, and I may walk all morning and never find a tree. So that's the setup I want because it's so light.
So someone that's kind of new, out of those steps right there, those 3, which one would you tell the first person? Which one would you tell the person that's getting new into hunting? Which one would you tell them to prefer to get?
The branch.
The branch one?
Yep. That's going to be your simplest, no nonsense, set it up, and it's going to cam right in, and it's going to be rock solid. And most guys are familiar with a set of sticks. And even if they're not, sticks are the simplest way to go. You strap 3 sticks to the tree and you climb up. And then you set that branch platform the same way. It's just simple.
Well, guys, I don't want to take up too much of your time. See you guys kind of pulled over the side of the road here, so I want you guys to get back to, you guys are out turkey hunting, right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time. Was there any stories or topics we didn't get to cover tonight that you wanted to share, talk about before we let you guys go for the night?
Man, I think you did pretty good. What you got?
You'd asked a question earlier. One cool thing about Louisiana is when it comes to gator hunting, you have the only guys that are able to do that is commercial fishermen. But our wildlife and fishery does a lottery. So you send in $5 and you get put into a lottery. And if you get drawn, you get 3 gator tags. And you have to pay for them, but they're only like $160. You less than $175 and everything once you buy your license and all that stuff. And you can go out, any Joe Blow could go out and harvest 3 gators.
Can you sell them?
You can't sell them, like I can't sell them to you, but what I can do is I can turn around and sell them to a dealer that the state that they're licensed through the state to buy them.
Okay.
So,
I've put in for the tags. I just never got drawn. And I was just going to keep them for myself. But...
so you can keep them for yourself. You just fill out some paperwork and send that in to let them know where that gator is. My very first year doing it, I got drawn, and I just kept them and didn't realize I had to fill out that paperwork to a year later when the game warden showed up looking for them. And luckily, I had them in my freezer and they were tagged, and he ended up letting me keep them. But he could have took them and probably even arrested me, ticketed me, whatever, because I didn't do the paperwork right. But
so you're saying after you harvest the alligator, there's a separate form that not a lot of people know about that they have to fill out?
So whenever you harvest a gator, the very first thing you have to do is tag it.
Correct.
And there's paperwork to go with that tag. Now, if you go sell your gators to a buyer, they take care, they're responsible for that paperwork. You have sold that tag to them, and each tag has its own number. If you keep it, the paperwork is very easy to fill out. My first year, I just missed it. Like 2 years ago, my wife got drawn. So we went and we got our 3 gators. And when we got home, filled out the paperwork, sent it off, and never had an issue. So, and it's really fun. It's something different to do.
I'm not
and
gonna
it's
lie,
not like you see on Swamp People either.
What's that?
It's not like you see on Swamp People. It ain't all tree shakers.
Yeah. Now, there are times where, like, the biggest one we ever caught was 12'1", and we had to shoot him 9 times before
he
decided it was done chomping, you know. But he was a monster. We had to pull him out with the truck.
I'm not gonna lie. Again, I don't know if I'm going alligator hunting. That fucking hunting dinosaurs, man.
Yeah,
you guys are tough down there in Louisiana.
No,
but man, that sounds like fun though. In a way, it'd be kind of like, you know what? Let's go gator hunting. Let's go try something new.
Yeah.
Well, Louisiana also offers, there's certain commercial fishermen who are able to bring people from out of state or even in state on a gator hunt. Not every one of them can do that, but some of them are able to do it. There are, like, I guess, guide services where you could come down and kill a gator.
So I'm assuming they'd have to have like their own separate type of license to be able to do that.
Well, the people would buy their own personal gator license, which is only like $25. Well, it is for resident. I don't know what it would be for out of state, but the commercial fishermen, they're taking care of all the paperwork to be able to do that. So once you pay them, you don't have to do, like, they're responsible for everything.
Well, I think if I go down to Louisiana, you guys take me gator hunting.
Yeah, and bow fishing.
Yeah. Well, was there any other stories or topics we didn't get to cover again?
No, man.
Was that kind of it? Well, guys, I just want to say thank you for taking the time out of your day to come on the show and talk with us. I very much appreciate it. I know everyone that's listening appreciates it. Learned a lot about Louisiana, learned about your company, learned about you guys. Let's just not mention about crackheads. That topic. We'll leave that for ourselves.
Yeah.
But real quick, for everyone that wants to reach out to you guys or wants to reach out to your company and buy it, how can they do that? How can they find you guys?
Yeah, so you can go to the website. We have a little spot for messaging, and it comes directly to my phone. If you jump on there and message, you're probably talking to either me or Anthony, my business partner. You can even call, and it comes straight to my cell phone. So you'll talk to one of us. You can catch us on Facebook, Instagram, and we have a TikTok. We're not very good at posting too much on TikTok, but we have one.
That's okay. I hate TikTok, so I'm never on it. I think it's the downfall of society in a way.
It probably is. I think my oldest kid just wants to be a TikTok influencer.
That's a new day and age, man. Kids just want to be the next influencer and just I want to make all money and do this.
Hey, they trying to ban it in the U.S. though.
I saw it. I saw it's a bill in the Senate, at least that I last saw. So I have my fingers crossed that it gets banned. That's my personal take on it.
Yeah.
But again, I just want to say thank you guys. Very much appreciated. I know you guys are busy guys, so I'm going to let you guys go. Have a good rest of your night. And thank you again for coming on the show. Very much appreciated, guys.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Enjoyed it.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks, guys. Well, that was a fun show talking with those two guys. Learned a lot about saddle hunting, learned about their own techniques down there. Very interested to go down south and gator hunt. Part of me wants to do it, but part of me, it's like, I don't know if I want to, because it's like I said, hunting dinosaurs. A little scary. But that was a fun episode. First fun start of the show of the week. Looking forward to the rest of the guests that we have on the show. I did want to mention, if you do want to see, we have made some updates to our website. If you do want to see our guests that we do have lined up for that week coming up, always check us out on our website. We'll let you know who's going to be on that show for that day, for Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. If it's Ask the Audience, that's your opportunity on the website to see. That's us saying, hey, if you want to come on the show, we don't have a guest lined up as of right now, and you want to come on the show, and you see that it's Ask the Audience, send us a message on our social media platforms or send us an email through the website, and we'll see it, and we will try and get our best to see if we don't have anybody booked in and get you on the show. But with that being said, I just want to ask everyone to please make sure you put your quarter in the slot machine. Help share the show. Help share the show about hunting is dying and this cancer culture bullshit. Can't say stuff anymore. This country isn't free anymore, and we got to fight for that right. And as hunters, I know we're a bunch of fighters, and nothing's going to take us down. But with that being said, I thank you guys for listening. Thank you for tuning into the show. Please make sure to check us out on our social media pages. Check out our website, and we'll tune in for tomorrow's show with Chris. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Whitetail Advantage Podcast. We hope you enjoy